Your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Collier rotates to flip for three, and he ripped the cords. Beautiful three from Kyle Filipowski on the left side. Bailey takes one dribble to his left, shoots a three, and hits. Ace Bailey has been unlocked tonight. Offensive rebound, Kyle. He's on the left block, finds a slicing Cody. This time the dunk is good and the foul. Cody's in the corner. He puts it on the deck. He drives with the right hand. Goes to the window. Windmills the right-hander and brings the jaws of the crowd to the floor. Cody Williams, how about that? My goodness. Jaws on the floor across the building.
You're locked into JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Thanks for being with us, everybody. Welcome on in. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone on a Friday edition of the program. Got the double dip of the Pelicans and Jazz. You got your first version of the game last night over here at Delta Center. They'll have another one tomorrow night at Delta Center. They fall last night. Nasty second quarter, not able to keep up with the scoring of the Pelicans there, but started to reel it back in a little bit again, and some of these young guys are showing promise here and there, and I think those are games, and this is a series, if you want to call it that, as they're playing 2 home games in a row against Pelicans, that you can find out a little bit about your team here and against the same set of opponents night on night here over a couple of days. Joining us on the program right now, Eric Spyropoulos. He joins us. NBA.com and the Utah Jazz, of course, is his beat. Eric, thanks for being with us, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Last night, the Jazz fall. Of course, we've stopped doing the game-by-game analysis. However, if we hung on game by game, it would just be wild for us because it just living and dying by every game and wondering about what this team is doing.
We know what's going on.
It's a crazy thing to do, but what are you seeing out of the guys that are getting minutes who probably would never be getting the minutes that they're getting right now, and what are they proving to this staff?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of examples that kind of fit in that boat. One that jumps to mind immediately after last night is Elijah Harkless, who on a 2-way contract hasn't had much opportunity with the Jazz this season, and he was injured for a lot of the G League season so far. But he comes out there last night, and Will Hardy talked about it postgame, that his tenacity that he plays with can rub off on his teammates. And 11 points, 6 assists, he had 4 steals. He brings the energy on the defensive end that I think the Jazz are obviously looking for on a night-to-night basis. And then that kind of extends to even like a veteran like John Conchar, who hasn't been able to hit shots yet, but has been defending at a high level and racking up a ton of steals and deflections. Another guy that Will Hardy shouted out specifically after last night's game. So whether it's young guys on 2-way contracts, guys who have been in the league for many years, I think there are a bunch of different examples, like you talked about, of the opportunities are going to be there. And that's the compelling aspect of the final 25 games or so is seeing how those guys capitalize on those moments.
Yeah, obviously these are an important evaluation period for those guys. As you look at that, where is Isaiah Collier's place moving forward? Do you feel like he has a spot in this rotation moving forward? What has he done to, I guess, make sure that spot is his moving forward, I should say?
Yeah, I think, Isaiah is an interesting point guard because he's still kind of trying to develop that three-point shot. But in the meantime, he is such a threat in transition, and he is a really good passer. And so a lot of it is trying to figure out how you can leverage his skill set by, who are you putting around him in certain lineups and how much are you able to get out in transition. And but he has made some growth as a scorer in particular. I had just actually published a film study on UtahJazz.com about, the growth that he's made in his second year. And a lot of it outside of that passing has come with his ability to kind of get downhill and, maybe pull up for a little mid-range jumper at the free throw line or, use his physicality to create space and get to a floater or a little push shot. And he's been averaging, 17 points and I think just under 10 assists per game in February. Obviously, he's been playing a lot without Keontae George, who's been out of the lineup. But I think if you're looking forward and projecting his potential role, I think it's easy to see, someone like Isaiah Collier becoming that kind of change of pace backup point guard that can come into a game, push the pace in transition, set up teammates, and get downhill and put pressure on the rim. And that's obviously something that the Jazz are always looking to do more of.
You know, it's an interesting thing, too, because you start to talk about what locker rooms kind of become. And one of the big pieces of this that we always talk about are kind of those intangibles that guys have from a leadership perspective. I don't know what type of a locker room guy, other than everybody saying that Triple J is like a great dude, good character fit. That's great. Does this team have somebody on this roster who is a born, built-in kind of settle the group type of a leader? And if not, do they have to go out and find that person during the offseason kind of as a priority? Because you have all this talent. You wonder if somebody could help bring it all together.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you always, there's one common thing you hear about the best teams in the league, and it's a lot about their leadership, and whether it's one guy or multiple guys, or maybe they have a really experienced head coach. Jaren Jackson Jr., by all accounts, is a guy who will kind of set the tone, maybe more so with his play and, through example. But someone that the Jazz, I think, are really excited to have in their locker room. A lot of praise, a lot of the young guys have had praise for both Kevin Love and Jusuf Nurkic this season. Both have played different roles throughout the year. Jusuf Nurkic comes in that trade in the summer, definitely not expecting to be the starting center, but Walker Kessler goes down, and all of a sudden, Nurk had that period where he kind of changed a little bit of the season with his playmaking and his screening and his rebounding. But both he and Kevin Love have got a lot of praise from the young guys in terms of, teaching them how to be a pro, kind of motivating them at certain times, understanding when to pick their moments to be those types of leaders. So, remains to be seen if both or one of them will be on the roster next year. But those two guys in particular have gotten a lot of praise this season.
Doesn't it feel like this is a little bit of an audition for all these guys in this last few games? How do you view it that way?
Yeah, I think, it was something – there was something interesting that I remember that Will Hardy had said towards the end of last season, which was also another one of those like trial periods, I think, for a lot of these young players was, you can't just assume that because you're getting minutes right now that you will continue to get minutes, whether on the Jazz or on another team in the league. Each situation is different. Obviously, the Jazz are now in this phase where they're preparing to kind of take that next jump next season when fully healthy, hopefully adding another piece in the draft and seeing what can be done in free agency. So, yeah, I do agree that there are, on one end, there are a lot of opportunities to be had over the final 25 games or so. But on the other hand, with that opportunity, these guys have to make the most of it as they battle for playing time within each other as young players, but also and potentially with some of the veterans that the Jazz have on the roster or may look to bring in the offseason as they look to take that leap next year.
I know that the maybe the most like watched or people wondering what was going on with the Lauri Markkanen MRI in the league this year. Everybody going, oh man, what's going to happen with that MRI? Bone bruise. Turns out there's an injury there that is going to keep him out for a minute. What do we know so far about how long the possibility of Lauri could be out here? Is it the kind of thing that could keep him out the rest of the season, or is it one that we might see a reevaluation in a couple weeks, and even then it might be a couple weeks after that?
Yeah, I think it depends probably on that reevaluation, like you said. I mean, I think he's set to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. And so from that point on, we'll have to see kind of how he's been recovering from that. Will Hardy had said that he took kind of an awkward landing in practice the other day that led to the injury in the MRI. So I imagine he'll be, once he's reevaluated in those 2 weeks, depending on where he's at physically, they'll make a decision on if it's right to bring him back at that moment or to continue to wait for him to be fully healthy. Because obviously you don't want to take any risk with him heading into the offseason. Same thing with Jaren Jackson Jr. You want these guys to be fully healthy in the offseason to start building that synergy for next year.
I think watching this Pelicans team is interesting because it's good for Jazz fans to see another franchise and see what they're building and what they're doing. The Pelicans have one of the worst records in the league, and they're not doing it on purpose. Like, they're just bad. And you look at the way their team is built, it's hard seeing a future for them. As you look at the contrast between how the Jazz are building their roster right now and where a team like the Pelicans is, does it show you the difference in team building approach that a team needs to take in 2026 to be able to compete with the best teams in the league?
Yeah, I think it is a really compelling matchup. I mean, the thing with the Pelicans is they're almost in a weird crossroads where they do have a lot of veteran talent, but hasn't been able to stay on the floor, obviously, especially with Zion Williamson. But, even guys like Trey Murphy and Herb Jones have been out for extended periods over the past few years. So it's been a question of getting that talent to stay on the floor, then getting that talent to kind of fit together, because obviously Zion, while a dynamic talent and he has now stayed healthy for, I think, 33 straight games, is still a tough fit, with his lack of shooting and having the ball in his hands. But at the same time, they also drafted 2 rookies last year. And as you had mentioned, they had made the trade to get Derek Queen in the draft and therefore don't have their first-round pick this season.
Oops.
It goes to the Atlanta Hawks.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be grateful, Jazz fans.
Exactly, where, they have 2 rookies that they're really invested in, but they also have a lot of this veteran talent, and they're trying to fit both at the same time. Whereas I think with the Jazz, it's been a little bit of a smoother, we're going to build through the draft, get some young guys in here, develop them, and then we're going to strike where we think the time is right. And that was obviously with the Jaren Jackson Jr. move. And so obviously the hope is one more elite prospect in this year's draft and take that leap next year. The Pelicans are kind of hoping that their veterans will stay healthy and they can fit with these rookies that they drafted this year, and therefore they hope that combination will lead to some more success next year.
Tell me what you think where Cody Williams what he's done in the time he has been given. I think we've all seen the progress. Has it been enough, and is it one of those things that another year that you could kind of maybe hope for the development that we saw out of Keontae George, or even like the Walker Kessler leap that he had from one year to the next? What are the Jazz expecting out of Cody Williams, and is he getting kind of close?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely seeing signs of the potential for Cody Williams to contribute as this kind of defensive-minded wing that can attack in transition and just rely on trying to get downhill to score. The third-year leap, it comes in different forms, obviously. And like you said, Walker Kessler and Keontae George had really good third seasons. Obviously, both are very different players than Cody Williams. But, you've definitely seen some more strength even from year 1 to year 2 for Cody. And so hoping that can continue with another offseason of work, focusing in that area, further comfort, and then, playing. He does seem to project as a player that could fit in around the Jazz core that they're building, which will already handle a lot of the scoring and the playmaking responsibilities. Outside of that, they're going to be looking for these complementary pieces that defend, get out in transition, and kind of do some of that dirty work that every good team needs. And, from what we've seen so far with Cody Williams this season, you can kind of see the makeup of how that could play out for him moving forward, especially next year.
We've seen Bryce Sensabaugh's ability to score. What else does he have to do to secure his place in this league? What other pieces to his game can he add to complement the ability to score at the rate he does?
The biggest thing, or the 2 things that Will Hardy actually talked about pregame last night specifically regarding to Bryce was, one, his individual defense. You want to make sure that, especially, as the Jazz are looking to improve on that end of the floor next year, they will have a good foundation, or they hope to have a good foundation in the front court defensively, obviously, with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Walker Kessler, and just having a lot of size. But you also want to make sure that you're not throwing people out there that teams are just going to consistently attack on that end of the floor. And the other thing is kind of not necessarily his shot distribution, but leveraging his skill set at the right time. And what Will had talked about was teams respect him so much as a catch and shoot threat after last year that they're kind of forcing him to put the ball on the floor more and attack off the dribble. And it's about, when are you picking your spots? What shots are you getting to? How quickly are you moving the ball within the flow of the offense? I think those are the 2 areas that, no one's going to doubt Bryce's ability to shoot and to score, but it's about kind of harnessing those skill sets on the offensive end and then contributing on the defensive end.
Pelicans took game 1 of this 2-game little series that they have tomorrow night. Of course, game 2. Zion Williamson's an interesting study. We're still trying to figure this guy out. Maybe you've figured him out. What do we know about a now 25-year-old, if you can believe it, Zion Williamson? And, even throwing out what has happened in the past, what kind of a player has he become now? Obviously, he gets on the floor, and he gets a lot of attention still. And he scored 20 points last night. He's kind of a 21, 22-point-a-game guy this year. But what type of a player has Zion Williamson become? And is there still an upside with him? And what does game 2 look like against this Pelican team?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think there is still a lot of upside with Zion. I mean, you see him when he's out there. I mean, he is kind of one of these singular forces in a way similar to Giannis, where it's like he doesn't shoot, but you almost can't really stop him getting to the rim. And, the Jazz are playing some smaller lineups. Their front court has been depleted by injuries. And so, Zion and Sadiq Bey last night, especially in the first half, were just kind of getting inside the paint at will and scoring or getting fouled. And that's kind of the dilemma when you're facing this Pelicans team, is that they live at the rim offensively, and Zion sets the tone for that. Like you said, he's still giving you 21 to 22 points a game, a couple of assists, some rebounds, but he forces the defense to react to him in a way that, quite frankly, very few players in the NBA do, because of his kind of singular nature and his skill set. So, like I said before, he's been able to stay healthy for actually quite a while this season, and I think you're seeing the results of him, maybe not reaching that super all-star, all-NBA peak, but a guy who on any given night can just completely take over a game.
As the Jazz move from a rebuild into playoff contender mode next season, how would Svi Mykhailiuk fit into that equation?
I think pretty seamlessly. I mean, he is a guy who has been able to shoot the ball really well. He competes defensively. He has kind of some secondary playmaking, ball handling skills, which are always nice to have in the backcourt, especially when you talked about the Jazz, having this big front court. They're going to be looking for what pieces can support that front court in the backcourt. And Svi has been able to showcase his ability to kind of do a little bit of everything on the offensive end and compete defensively. And, given his contract status, which is, really low, with the Jazz obviously going to want to manage the salary cap moving forward, guys like that can play on both ends of the floor and come at a small cost become extremely valuable for teams that are looking to compete in the playoffs.
And Ace Bailey, we're following consistently his development. 29 minutes on the court last night, 23 points, 9 of 17 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 4 rebounds. What are you seeing in his development as the season's going along?
I mean, I think this upcoming stretch will be probably the most compelling of Ace Bailey's season because of all the injuries and just the desire to want to give him more room to operate. He's going to get the ball more, and he's going to be put in different spots to see, how he fares. And last night, I think we saw a really good start to the game. He looked really comfortable getting the first few possessions, the first few plays run for him, getting to his mid-range, a nice finish at the basket, and then some foul trouble kind of, took him out of the game, kind of disrupted his rhythm, and then he had a little bit of a late flurry in the fourth quarter. But, I mean, we've seen a lot of growth from him on the defensive end. He doesn't have super high assist numbers, but he has been moving the ball effectively, which I think you feel really optimistic about moving forward. And, I mean, the shot making is what it is. The percentages aren't super high, especially from three. But when you watch him play, it's just a smooth rhythm. His jumper looks good. He can get to his spots, and perhaps more importantly, he can shoot over defenders with his size. So I think you have to feel really encouraged about his season so far, and then you have to feel really intrigued about what he's going to be able to do the final 25 games or so.
Eric Spyropoulos, he writes at NBA.com. He covers Utah Jazz. You can see his byline there. And, of course, you've got yourself like I said, a double dip with the Pelicans, who stay in town, and they'll play the Jazz tomorrow over here at Delta Center. Then they get Rocky Mountain foe, the Nuggets, coming over on Monday as well. And then they have a long week on the road before coming back to take on the Warriors the next week. So safe travels, Eric, with all that. And also on top of it, good luck covering the team the rest of the way here. It's going to be an interesting last 20-something games here, and we're looking forward to it, man. Thanks for helping us out.
It certainly is. Thank you guys for having me.
There you go. Eric Spyropoulos.
Yeah, I know that we're not looking for wins and all that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of interesting storylines over the last
we basically
couple months here.
Asking him, without asking him, which guy really is going to be around still? Which guy could add value?
Yeah.
And honestly, why wouldn't Cody Williams be able to make another leap in his game? I think we can all recognize he's a lot better than he was last year, which people were concerned. They're still a little bit concerned.
Sure. But
what does that second to third year look like? What's the vision quest he's going to go on? Oh, you remember that movie?
Vision quest. There's a distraction.
Where's the vision quest that he has, like Keontae had last year, going over to Finland and doing all that stuff?
Thank you for bringing up Keontae. What was our opinion of Keontae George at this time last year?
We were concerned, to say the least.
He's coming off the bench.
We were concerned, to say the least. Saw a lot of the scoring opportunity. You saw the scoring ability.
Yeah.
And you're like, but then you had nights where he was 9 for 20 or 8 for 21, and you're like, ugh.
Now we're arguing he should have been in the All-Star game. Like, things can change quickly when you're young, and we forget how young these guys are. And Cody Williams is younger. Like, he's young.
Yeah.
And so give him some time. And in year 3, he could blow up as far as what his skill set is, what his role could be. He could absolutely be a key part of this thing moving forward.
What was the thing that made the difference for Key or for Walker Kessler to make that leap from second to third year to be not just I don't know if he's gonna be a part of this future, to have that guy?
Intensity and commitment to doing what is required to be great.
I think Keontae George, so much has been made about him flipping a switch that happened by him digging down deep, doing the trip to Finland, having the time, like from a mental aspect too, that he got his game rounded up with that.
He had the guys come to Dallas.
Whatever. Yes, he did he hosted the guys. He had like a little party with all of his teammates, right? Brings everybody down. I don't know what version of that Cody Williams has to go through. Walker Kessler had a similar thing. He had a great rookie season. We all were worried after year 2. And then year 3, he became a guy who now is going to ask for $30+ million a year in the offseason.
And he's going to get it.
So
even after missing an entire 4th year.
Crazy. So I would love to see whatever the version of that is.
We talked about who the alpha is in that first hour.
Who is it?
It's Keontae.
You think it is?
It has to be. If he's already reached that level in year 3, where is he going to be in 4, 5, and 6?
I mean, you can't be that guy when you have a year like last year. But when you have a year like this year, people will listen to you.
And you got some swagger, and you're backing it up with your play on the court, and you're doing the things that leaders need to do. He's becoming that.
When Cody
is
Williams
he there yet?
When Cody Williams had that,
he's becoming that.
When he had the windmill dunk last night, the guy who flew off of the bench, and I was also like, "Ooh, the ankle looks good." Keontae George in his civvies,
waiting on the MRI.
Waiting on the sorry, no, but he popped up. I mean, he was fired up.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm talking about.
Which I love to see. You love to see it. Okay.
His presence is felt in every moment.
We'll take a break. We'll come back, and when we do, we got more to chat about here. We got a top 10 coming up in a few minutes here, but also let's jump into the NFL Blitz here, some stuff that's been happening. Hey, Jack Kelly posting some big-time numbers at the NFL Combine. Is it enough for him to go up in the draft and become a value for somebody who is looking for a steal? We'll come back and talk about that and much more. NFL Talk next, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Okay, everybody, welcome on in. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. What's the weather looking like on Sunday, by the way, Annapolis, you know? You do the traffic report so dang well. I figured you should be a weather guy, too. You're like, what's the weather supposed to be on Sunday here in Salt Lake City? I'll tell you right now. Ooh. High of 60. Nice. Low of 45. So decent weather. A little bit of
March coming in like a lamb.
Little overcast, but no problem. I'm asking because I have tickets to give away to RSL versus the Seattle Sounders coming to America First Field.
It's going to be beautiful.
Yes, man. So all you have to do is be calling number 12 right now. You'll be able to enjoy that 60-degree weather yourself, watching RSL. Hopefully get a win against the Seattle Sounders here at home. That's tomorrow, right? These are tomorrow tickets. You got to call right now. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-9663. It is the home opener at America First Field. So come on down with your phone call, get a ticket, or be calling number 12 and get you 4 tickets to the home opener. That's awesome. So are they 0-1 then? 0-1. They lost their first one to Vancouver, right? Up the Whitecaps up there. And look at me. Look at me following RSL, my guy. It was a 1-0 battle. I always love knowing that.
You can't talk soccer without an accent, one way or the other.
Yeah. I love
Football is life.
Yeah, it is.
There we go.
Yeah, it is. Congratulations to Alex Kerfoot's dad, who owns part of the Whitecaps. So there you go. Isn't that the weirdest connection? One of our NHL, one of our Utah Mammoth. His father owns the Vancouver Whitecaps. No problem. I'm just saying.
Did Kerfoot go to Harvard?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Smart guy.
I think the smartness probably runs in the family. You know
Obviously,
what
very successful family.
So there
and
you go.
all they do.
Let me see here. NFL Blitz music, of course, popping up right here. Now you recall during the back and forth, I think they had like an arbitration hearing that the NFL sent a memo to the clubs that said, "Hey, look, following the ruling from arbitrators in the NFLPA will not be allowed to publish these the report cards that they give on the teams." Felt like it was a bad look. And we were like all interested because it was like every year I wanted to see who got the bad grades. I want to see who got an F. You know what I mean? I wanted to see who had rats in the locker room or whatever it might be. But they took it away from us. At which point I said, "Yeah, but the NFLPA will find a way to have this thing leak out." And sure enough, we have. I love that they go through this full thing. And they said, "Oh, it's violating the collective bargaining agreement by disparaging the NFL clubs and individuals." That was the ruling that they gave. So look, it's a grievance. You're not going to be able to do it. The league put it out. Can't do it. And we have the full report sitting right in front of us on our desk. I love it. You know why? Because it's in their interest to keep pressure on these clubs to be better.
Yes. It's the only way.
And it's not, look, I think that people get confused, JJ, that we're talking about the NFL, these NFL teams like, look at these billionaire owners. They can afford some really good food for these players. It's not that. Everybody knows that these guys have a lot of money and they can put this thing together. It speaks of a top-down mentality inside your club. Mm-hmm. You know, I watched UCLA's new head coach go through and start talking to his players this week, and he goes, "Hey, I hope you know the names of the guys you passed on the way in here who were picking up you guys' stuff in the locker room. You better freaking know their name. You know why? They're not just, oh, it's a nice thing. I want you to figure it out. The ladies that come around and they clean up, I better not catch you not knowing who those people are. They're going to come in here and introduce themselves to you. They're part of the team. And you better not know their name." And I thought that's a great top to bottom mentality. So if you have a bad training room and you have a bad owner, if you have a bad GM, according to the grades that these players give, it speaks to something more than just, hey, they're being cheap. It's not just that, okay? It's a lot deeper than that. That's why I think it's important to have these. Okay. Team ownership. I'll give you the top and the bottom. Baltimore Ravens at an A+. Arizona Cardinals with an F. See the top-down thing I'm talking about?
Tracks,
Do you see the top-down thing?
Yes.
Yeah, your Broncos, also an A+.
Yes.
Sam's Club, awesome. I love that place. Walmart, I'll see you there. I think there are groceries on my porch right now getting delivered.
Boom.
Love their ownership. From a general manager standpoint, Panthers and Broncos tied for 1. Your guys are doing well so far. Dead last, the New York Giants. That tracks. Right?
Yeah.
You see where these grades are coming from. Best coaches in the league. Best head coaches in the league. Los Angeles Rams. I love how they don't put the coaches' names on there. We know who they are. The Los Angeles Rams with an A+. The Washington Commanders with an A+. Good for Dan Quinn, man.
Yeah.
This guy's got a lot of respect. Good for Sean McVay. However, I don't understand how the Seahawks and the Jets, Aaron Glenn and Mike McDonald got these same scores on grades.
What were their scores?
A.
You know what?
I don't get it.
Look.
Why is Aaron Glenn an A? Why is he at the same level as Vrabel, as Andy
The players
Reid?
vote on this, right?
Yes.
Just because a team doesn't win doesn't mean the players don't love their coach.
They like Aaron
Have
Glenn.
you watched Aaron Glenn coach?
Yeah, but how long
That's
will you?
That's a player's coach.
Awesome. You won 4 games this year again.
Well, this is
Am
not,
I being
this
generous?
is
Did
not
they
us,
win?
the media, ranking who the best coaches are.
No,
This
I know.
Is the
I'm just
players ranking
right.
which coaches treat them
Fine.
the best.
Fine.
Right?
Aaron Glenn's a great guy. I love him. Going to be fired in 2 years. Okay.
Probably anybody that
might
works
be.
for the Jets is going to get fired in 2
I know.
years.
So go down. I always want to know the ones that are like, look, it's fine. You can do position coaches. You can do offensive, defensive coordinators. Fine. Give me the food grades. Right? That's all I'll be able to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Who has the best? So locker room too. The Detroit Lions locker room voted number 1. The Raiders, by the way, tied them. Number 1, best locker room. Worst locker room, and it's not even an F. They got an F-. The Steelers and the Cardinals. F- is not a grade.
Wow,
that's an embarrassment. Is
the
what it
Rooney's
is.
not feeding their players.
Well, that one's the locker room one. That's the locker room itself.
Okay.
Now we're talking food. All right. The food and dining. Number 1, tied for number 1. Your Denver Broncos. They get all the great value lunch meats they can eat from the Walton family. Houston Texans also tied. And the Raiders, all with the best food grades. Worst food grades, the only team with an F. Any guesses?
The Chiefs?
Nope. It tracks, though. The Cincinnati Bengals.
No.
F-. No one else even got an F. They got an F-.
Minus, that's rough.
That's like something growing
They
on
must
it
not
when you
feed
get
them
it.
up. Maybe they charge them for their premium
I know.
meal.
I don't get it. I don't get why you cut corners.
Probably just a vending machine at the facility.
Like, literally, you have to keep these guys eating a metric ton of food a day, man.
Doesn't that track for the Bengals, though? They're such a cheap organization.
So cheap. And that's the reputation they've always had. It's a reputation they will continue to have. Travel accommodations. Gosh, your Broncos are showing up and showing out, man.
They got good owners.
Miami Dolphins and Denver Broncos, right at the top of the list. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Steelers. The Steelers have found themselves at the bottom of most of the categories, by the way. That's not a good look for, who is it that owns them? The Rooneys? Yeah. The Maras are the Giants, right? I get them mixed up because they married each other at one point. It's some weird, like, royal family situation. And then team nutritionists, like the people who are running the nutrition side of things, not even the cooking, just the nutrition part. Falcons number 1, dead last. Cincinnati Bengals F-. Gosh, you guys need to get your crap together. Hey, guys in Cincinnati, are you all right? Was there a salmonella outbreak that we didn't know about? Are they feeding you? Do you remember that? I think they said that the NFL teams go through, I think it's something like 10,000 Uncrustables a week.
I believe it.
I mean, that's
How
like
many chocolate milks go down?
Chocolate milk, Uncrustables, those things are, they must be just absolutely passing those things out like crazy.
Imagine how expensive it was in the NBA for the Golden State Warriors feeding Jonathan Kuminga's family.
Family treatment is one of the options over here.
If you don't get the joke, Google it.
It's not a good look for Jonathan Kuminga, by the way. Look, I do.
Imagine if the Kumingas were in the NFL.
I would do the same thing.
You got 7 kids.
I know.
Darn right you do the same thing.
I know. I'd be like, hey, everybody, just walk through the line here. Pretend like you know me.
Is there still a pan of that chicken Alfredo left? I'm going to take that home with me tonight. The whole thing.
Okay. All right, we'll take a break. I just
Breakfast,
love
lunch, and dinner tomorrow.
I love these grades so much.
They are interesting.
funny to watch. And I don't know if we actually learned anything about these teams because sometimes you're like, oh, they won the Super Bowl.
Well,
oh,
we
they have
just
an
learned
F.
that the Broncos are awesome.
The Broncos, man, it's not just pulling out every expense. They're also hiring really, really good people.
Yep.
That's why you end up probably where you're at here. On your way to an AFC West. Would this be their second AFC West title in 2 years if they win it next year?
It would be the second in 2 years. Yes.
We can't call it a streak, though, right? Didn't we determine 3 is a streak? 2 is getting lucky.
The debate rages on.
1 was.
When can you call it a streak?
Not at 2. All right. And you got to get that second, too, by the way. All right. We'll come back. We have more. We have a top 10. I've got a fun top 10 for you here on a Friday. So stay here. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The biggest name. You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, Yacht Rock Friday. Phenomenal.
All aboard.
I am mentally where Michael McDonald is singing about in this song. I've got some linen pants on in my head. Got some boat loafers. Boat loafers does sound like something that you would call somebody in high school. When you were in high school. What's a boat loafer? But it's not an insult. It's actually a way of life. All right? Soft Rock continues.
It is a lifestyle.
Hey, the KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact the youth sports in their communities. The way that we do that is by nominating youth sports volunteers across this great state of ours. Beehive Meals, of course, sponsors it. It's the Hero of the Week. Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. All you have to do is go to kslsports.com/contests, and you nominate somebody who does an awesome job in your neck of the woods with youth sports. So many times they do not get the recognition. We want to give them that. And every Thursday afternoon, we read those off for you. And Beehive Meals, of course, provides another $250 their way as well. So it's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week, kslsports.com/contests. Get those nominations in now. All right, I was going to find for you. So I've done this before because I was fascinated with I was fascinated with the Forbes list and how much teams are worth. And when we heard that the Seahawks could be going for between the Paul Islands estate is selling, I thought, oh man, I bet we're going to get a new list. I mean, Forbes does this every year, but it's at the end of the year. And so trying to get Forbes to do one early, not going to happen. And I thought, well, maybe it's going to change around. But I was thinking to myself, you know what we've never done is the least valuable sports franchises in America.
in the 4 major sports in the United States is what we're talking about. Or does it go beyond that?
So it's okay. So it's no. It's just the. Yeah, I would think that it would be like of the ones that are the most.
Or is there anything that's not NBA, NHL, NFL, or MLB?
I didn't look at the very last ones. Hold on. Let me look here. Just make sure that I have it. Okay. So I'm just going to go. It's just going to be the. Okay, it's going to be the Forbes list here, and it's going to be. It's going to kind of be all of them, okay? So, yes, Major League Baseball. Let me see here. Major League Baseball, MLS, it's all part of it.
Okay, so soccer's included.
Major League Baseball, MLS, and NHL, and NFL teams. The thing is, I'll just give you a hint. No NFL teams are in the bottom. That's why I don't. I'm like, which ones are we doing here? Yeah, NBA, NFL, all the major leagues, including Major League Soccer. Okay?
All right.
Least valuable franchises in all of American sports. You ready?
Yeah.
On your mark. Get set. Go.
Columbus Crew. New England Revolution.
Ding.
Chicago Fire.
Ding.
Winnipeg Jets.
Ooh,
No. Is there NHL teams on here? Oh, boy.
I'm not going to give you hints.
More bad MLS teams? I don't know. Atlanta, Minnesota.
Hold on. I don't know what those teams are.
The one United.
Okay.
The Loons.
No. Okay.
The LA Galaxy.
No.
I know the LAFC are much.
San Jose might be on there.
Oh, yeah. The Quakes.
Ding.
Got him, the Quakes. Who, Annapolis, help me. Worst MLS franchises.
Well,
Is DC on there?
No, it's just value.
United?
It's not that they're worst.
DC United? Oh, man. What's left? Oakland A's. No? Cincinnati Reds.
You do have 3 Major League Baseball teams on you.
Oh, who is it? Cleveland.
Ding!
I got it.
You got a Cleveland. I'll give you Cleveland.
Miami Marlins?
No.
Oh.
Okay. So, bottom of the barrel. First of all, from all the leagues.
It's hard.
I know. It's terrible. But that's the thing is like the value of it is one thing. Most of the time it has to do with the market that they're in, okay? And the sport, obviously. But like the lowest NFL team on the list of value, the Cincinnati Bengals, $5.25 billion.
But they weren't even close to the bottom 10.
No. Major League Baseball has a worst team when it comes to value. And it's the it's the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Really?
Yes.
The Pirates?
I thought so too, $1.35 billion.
That shocks me.
I was too. The Cleveland Guardians, 1.4.
Okay.
Rockies 1.457, so almost 1.5 billion. Man, I'll tell you what though. You know what's interesting is to buy yourself into the league. Remember how much it's going to cost the franchise fee?
About that much.
$2 billion.
Yeah.
They're up to $2 billion on the franchise. So you better be worth that much immediately.
You're instantly worth more than some of those franchises in the league.
NHL worse prior to their relocation was the Arizona Coyotes, and now wildly, one of the lowest values of all the NHL teams is the Florida Panthers.
Isn't that crazy?
At just under $1 billion.
The two-time defending champs.
And the Arizona Coyotes, by the way, are now the Utah Mammoth, and they are up to it's like $2 billion, I think, in value, or
So
just
they're not
under
in the
like
bottom
$1.5 billion. They're in the bottom 10, I think, of the NHL. They're not in the bottom 10 of teams, though.
Right.
So,
And that's quickly changing.
okay. Here are the other ones. Quakes, you got it. Number 7. These are going from the highest is number 10 on the list. And then, okay, get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Real Salt Lake, number 6. You guys couldn't bring yourself to say it. I appreciate that. Houston Dynamo at $550. Chicago Fire at $500 million.
Got that one.
The Whitecaps at $485 million. The Montreal Impact, is that a team? Hey, Annapolis, is Montreal Impact, are they making an impact
They
anywhere?
no longer exist.
Well, they were.
They are now CF Montreal.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, sorry. CF Montreal. They also put a slash. I didn't know which was. I thought one was the women's team. I'm sorry. I didn't want to offend anybody. 470 million. And then your least valuable franchise in the entirety of American sports in the big leagues, in the Big Four, Big Five, whatever you want to say, the Colorado Rapids, $390 million.
The Colorado Rapids are the lowest valued professional sports franchise in North America.
Shocked. There you go. Pelicans are the lowest in the NBA, if you were wondering.
Were they on that list, bottom 10?
No, still $3.5 billion.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
That is.
It's crazy. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We have more around the corner when we return. We've got our 5 o'clock hour. You don't want to miss any of it, so stay here. When we return, by the way, we're going to get into some Utah Mammoth and Minnesota Wild, speaking of two teams that are high value currently in the NHL. Stay here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.